Good stuff. Are you recovering from a cold too, John?
Um, I don't know. I guess like colds don't hit me very hard usually. My wife is just complaining because and my daughter have been recovering from a cold. She's like, why didn't you get sick? And I was like, well, I sort of sniffled once.
Yeah, yeah. Actually that's usually how I am too. Like my wife and kids will get royally sick, and I will get like my thing is I usually get a little scratchy throat, and now when I say my throat's feeling scratchy, my wife wants to like throw me out a window.
Hmm.
But I
Yeah.
actually I haven't been sleeping well for the last few weeks. I've been waking up at like 2 or 3 in the morning almost every night and not able to go back to sleep. So I got really run down, and then I got hammered. That's why I wasn't here last week. I got destroyed by a cold. So
Okay. I figured that you had just stayed up all night, standing in line at Best Buy. Didn't
yeah,
want to admit it.
Yeah, he
So,
was he was looking to get a Surface Pro. He didn't want to tell anybody.
yeah. Oh, so I gotta say, so yeah, I'm on my Surface Pro. I like it except for the bugs, the problems. Like that's it.
I like all the parts except the parts I don't like.
Yeah. So I mean, like, just the reason why this call was so late was because I kept it like I've got the Surface Dock now too, and I've got it hooked up to my 4K monitor, and that may have something to do with it because it's HDMI, and I'm converting from the so there's I mean there may
yeah,
be some things they didn't account for, but I don't know. I mean, I love the device. It's perfect. I mean, this is like the idea, the concept is totally perfect. Now I'm totally convinced because it's got a ridiculously long battery life. It's the right size. With the dock, you can dock it. It's powerful enough. The writing, the tablet, I mean, the writing is just, it's way better than anything I've ever seen. I mean, you can just sketch just like you're sketching on paper, except
hmm
better. And the fact that you can disconnect the tablet and hold it and use it, and and you can write on that. You know, you can use the tablet in that mode, and then that you can actually use it as a tablet with the full power just by flipping it around and putting it on the back. So you've got which will give you like 13-hour battery life. So it's like awesome in all those regards. I think the only thing like hardware-wise that could use some work is the trackpad is still not. It's a lot better than the previous iterations of like the Surface stuff. So it's acceptable at this point. But the bugs, man, gosh, like it's just like when you disconnect it and reconnect to the dock, or disconnect the top part and reconnect it, like there's always some kind of it's always gets screwed up and it won't recognize the monitor and stuff. So I mean, I'm hoping they're going to fix that stuff, but it's
yeah.
such a good product that I'm willing to suffer the bugs. So
Nice. You are, by the way, your video feed is very herky jerky. I don't know why. I haven't noticed that in our Skype calls. So I don't know if
hmm.
it's the 4K monitor or.
Windows. It's Windows. I like just reading Windows. Makes me feel better.
It might be Google Hangouts on Windows or on this machine. I wonder. I bet that's it. Dang, that's annoying. I noticed that
Yeah.
it looked like it was kind of
Do we
jerky.
look choppy to you too?
No, it's just
No.
me. So that's weird.
Huh.
Hmm.
Maybe you bought the model with the 2 FPS camera.
Well, I'm using my Logitech webcam. It's hooked up to it. But I wonder if there's a bandwidth problem going through that Surface dock. Because that dock connector, right, it's got power. It's like one connector. And
Yeah.
it's got power. It's powering a 4K monitor and this USB mic, like multiple USB devices. Like, how much bandwidth can that one port have? I wonder if I'm hitting a saturation point.
I'm really not happy with this trend toward like let's only have one connector for all the things. Apple's done it with the MacBook. I saw a post that the next version of the iPhone is going to have a Thunderbolt connection instead of a
Oh, the air mic.
3.5 inch, yeah, 3.5 inch
Yeah, I
or
heard that.
yeah.
I I really hope not.
I know, me too. I would be mad. I'd be very
If
mad
they do
about
put
that.
it in there, then what I want them to do is I want them to have a non-annoying, non-stick out 10 million inches um, thing
Oh,
that I can plug into it to use my regular.
It's gonna suck, and it's gonna be 4 inches long. It's gonna snap off if you put it in your pocket, and not only that, but you won't be able to charge the phone and use it at the same time. I guarantee you, this is what they're gonna do.
No, they'll make it so you can charge it and use it, I think. I don't know.
Well, if they do, it's gonna have to be like some kind of daisy chaining thing where you have like a charging cable that stacks on top of the thing with the port in it, and then it's gonna be like 3 inches long. Yeah, that wouldn't it would not surprise me at all for Apple to sacrifice major functionality to get the iPhone to be 1 millimeter thinner. That is totally exactly their standard operating procedure.
That's true. They do kind of stack them up at the keynotes, right? And it's this one's this thick, and the Samsung is like 2 breadths of a hair thicker.
But that's not what people are actually going to care about in the long run. They're going the wrong direction with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft is going the right direction with the Surface, I think.
Yeah, and Apple swears up and down that they're not going to be combining the iPad and the Mac anytime soon.
It's such bullcrap because they swore up and down that they weren't going to make a stylus and they weren't going to make an iPad Mini or a bigger iPad, and they did all of those things.
Well, yeah, but it took them like 5 years, so I think they're at least 5 years out from.
Yeah, the other things had to prove the market for them to decide to do it first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get dragged kicking and screaming into everything.
They're basically just riding this wave of their previous genius. Like it's that whole thing. They're playing it safe, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, and they're milking it for all they can, and it's not going to last for the long. Like it's how you. It's the problem that they conquer. It's like it's what people were complaining about, and then they solve, right? Because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, all these companies and mobile phones and stuff. They're never inventing anything new. They're not solving the problem. They're just like, skating on their previous achievements, and Windows is doing the same thing." And then they came in and they like shook it all up, and built these like beautiful devices and reinvented user interface on mobile phone and did all this stuff. And then they did this. They turned into what they hated. Like now they are like Apple stuff is just like what has changed in the last 4 years? Like nothing. Like it's just like same old crap. Like nothing innovative. They're just using that reputation. And so I don't know. I don't see that working for the long term. Like you got to start making stuff that's brand new, that's innovative. So not just making things thinner.
The thing I think is funny, though, is that just the rumor of Apple entering a market has changed the market. So, for example, the Apple Watch rumors, people came out. We had Pebble Watch like in no time because
yeah.
And then the Android Wear watches, and finally Apple came out with their watch. And I was just sitting there going, okay, so did they kind of go off of the fact that other people were making money there, or was it an actual legitimate rumor? That
it's a head fake.
that they were working on it and they just were waiting around to get it right, quote unquote. So.
Yeah, well, they didn't get it right. It's not that great of. I mean, it's okay, but it's not that great of a device for the price. So.
That's funny. I had a long, I guess it wasn't that long. It was like 10, 20-minute long conversation with Jonathan Stark from the Freelancer Show about that, and I was like, yeah, I got the Pebble Time Steel, and I'm like, I'm pretty happy with it, but I really want an Apple Watch just because it hooks in with everything else. He's like, no, you did the right thing. And yeah, I mean, the things that he pointed out to me. So the thing that I want from the Apple Watch that I don't get from the Pebble Time is all of the accelerometer, motion tracking, fitness tracking stuff, right? The flip side is that I don't. That watch is like $400 more expensive than the Pebble Time.
Yeah.
And so I saved myself $400, and it would drive me absolutely nuts to have to plug in my watch every night.
Yeah.
That part's not bad because it's actually uses like the bottom, like it's just like a circular disc that you just set it on, and they have stands and stuff. So that's that I thought was going to be annoying, but it turns out like you just go and you take your shower and you take it off, put it on the thing.
Yeah.
So it's not as annoying. I mean, I would prefer to have like an 8-month battery. Like I think Things just released this fitness tracker that tracks your sleep, running, and everything, and the battery lasts 8 months, and it's a watch. That is pretty smart. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, but the thing is, like, here's one thing that I just like realized. Again, I'm bare on Apple now. If you can't know, it's because I've got a Surface Book, so now I'm like a hating on Apple.
Whatever makes you feel good, John.
Yeah, I'm probably actually, I don't know. On the next iteration, I'm probably switching out of iPhone and iWatch again here because, well, one example is I was just running the other day, right? And I've been using the Apple, the Apple Workout app, right, on the Apple Watch, and that works okay, but it's not great. So I was using that at first, and then I was like, okay, well, let me use one of the apps that I've been using that I like on my iPhone, the Strava app. And so I'm like, okay, so this is probably going to be better. So I start the Strava app on the phone, and then when I'm running, I go and look at my watch, and the Strava app's not still like in the forefront. And there's a setting you can change to make so that the last activated app, shows up. Most people don't have that on because most of the time you don't want that. But the point is, like, with Apple stuff, like the third-party apps are always second-class citizens, right? So the workout app, if you're running, Apple Watch is smart enough to know that the workout app, as soon as you glance at your wrist, that's what you want to see, right? Even though you're doing something else, even though it's technically timed out. But it doesn't show you the Strava app because that's a second-class citizen. So you got to click over to it, and at that point you're like, well, what the hell? So I think that's the difference. Like Android, everything like the Google stuff is not a first-class citizen. It's the same level of you've got the same kind of ability. So I don't know. I think that's like if you can trust that Apple's going to build really quality software. I guess that's really what the problem has come down to for me, is that Apple stuff makes Apple a first-class citizen, and Apple sucks at writing software. Their software is just crap. So you're kind of stuck. So that's why I'd rather like have the free market in the thing. And I'm slowly coming to this like realization over time. At first it's nice, getting all the shiny Apple stuff, but then you're like, wow, a lot of this stuff is buggy. It doesn't have the functionality that I want, and there's better solutions out there, and those ones are the second-class citizen on the Apple platform. So I don't know. I'm shorting Apple stock, I think.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm still happy with the Apple ecosystem. My issues mostly just, if I have any, just come from any limitations I have on my phone and stuff. Even then, those aren't horrible. And the battery life on my watch is about a week and a half to 2 weeks for me.
That's pretty good, yeah.
So when it starts going dead, I have about another day and a half to get it to a charger, and it charges up in like 20 minutes. So it's not bad that way either. And the other thing is when I go out for a run, I can control my music and everything else from my watch, so I can actually see what I'm doing without having to pull my phone out or anything funny. Though I usually just stop and start it with the button on my Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
And then it uses the notifications when I shut the screen off. My running app does. It uses the notifications to let me know when to walk and when to run, because that's all it is. It's just a fancy timer for that. And so it just vibrates on my wrist, and I just glance down. I know what those notifications look like because they all have the same kind of shape and lettering. And so it's like, oh, run, walk, whatever. And it's pretty nice that way. So I do like having the smartwatch, and I think it's a category that makes sense for bunches of people out there. But overall, I just don't see it as something that I would spend $400 more on to get those extra features that seem to be in the Apple Watch. So.
Yeah, and I spent $1,000 on this one, and it's not. I mean, it's just not there yet. Like I don't know. it's the extra features are not really what they're cracked up to be at this point. Like there's not a whole. I mean, there's some nice things about it. Like I agree, smartwatch is a viable category, and that it's going to become commonplace, but it's going to be some time, I think, before it gets all figured out, because the big value is the things like the fitness side of it. If that works smoothly, being able to pay with your with your watch, and getting the right notifications and being able to respond to them, and then and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not quite, there's still a lot of things that are missing, I think.
Yeah, the other thing that I see is that, like on my watch, I can't quite pull up the QR code to scan to do like boarding passes and things like that. And I think eventually that would be really nice. And the integrations aren't as smooth between the iPhone and the Pebble Time, just because there aren't apps written that really work nicely with both. But for the most part, the notifications get you most of the way there, and I'm pretty happy overall with the experience.
Yeah.
And they're just starting to get to the point where apps can start using voice. So then I can talk to my watch like you can to the Apple Watch and get whatever the version of Siri is that entails. So.
Cool.
Can you stop play music from the watch?
Yeah. In fact, it says start playback now right now. But if I had something playing, then I could just tap the middle button and it would just start playing.
Huh. I might have to look into that. Tempted.
So we're on the off-topic part of our show. I'll give you guys a fitness update on the diet.
Oh yeah,
this has been interesting. So I stopped doing the Ultimate Diet 2.0. I saw last week was my last week of it, and I mean I did pretty good on the carb ups. Like I didn't do I had Thanksgiving, so it was like I had to like alter the days a little bit, but I don't know. Overall, when I looked at it, I did it for like 5 weeks, I think, maybe 6, and I followed it pretty strictly. Like, the only thing that might have been questionable was the carb ups, which that's not even supposed to be that big of a deal, and I didn't see really good results. Like, I saw some results, but after 5 or 6 weeks of doing something of that high level of protocol, I should have had really good results.
Yeah.
So it might just be me. It might just be a personal issue. Because I've seen people that have done Ultimate Diet 2.0 that have had good results, but I do suspect that some of the logic behind it is not is a little bit flawed. So I could try different variations of it. But anyway, I went back and I looked at it. I was like, okay, I've got 5 years of fitness data on myself, body fat measurements, weight. And so I looked at my scale and I was like, okay. Online, and I was like, okay, where did I lose the most weight? Where did I drop the most body fat percentage? What was working the best? And the time period was when I went to Hawaii and had come back. That was the biggest extreme drop, and that's when I started doing the 1 meal a day. One thing I was doing then was like in Hawaii, I was doing I was fasting until 5 o'clock every day. And then I was doing like 2 days we'd eat healthy, like eat chicken and broccoli and stuff like that. And then 1 day we'd eat out. So I was doing that alternation as opposed to like afterwards when I was just, doing 1 meal a day but then eating whatever. And so I decided to adopt that back. So this week I've been doing fasting till 5 and then eating pretty much just eating clean, like chicken and fish and basically clean and very low carb. But I've also I've kind of combined everything that I know now.
You've created the ultimate warrior diet 2.0. John.
Exactly. So my basic protocol right now is essentially fast until 5 every day. I'm taking caffeine and ephedrine 3 times a day. In the form of Bronchade and caffeine pill or double shots of coffee. And then I am doing, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I'm lifting weights, and I moved my lifting up to like 4 o'clock p.m., like 3:30, 4 o'clock p.m. So on those days when I'm eating dinner right after lifting, and
Yeah.
I'm having a shake, and then on those days I'm allowing myself carbs, complex carbs. So I'm eating like baked potato or like some not bad crap, but more complex carbs. Taking advantage of like that insulin sensitivity. So you know, using that bit from the kind of the Ultimate Diet, and then on days that I'm not lifting, I'm the only carbs I'm eating. I'm still fasting till 5. Are coming from vegetables. So no non-vegetable carbs, and I'm eating clean then. And then I'm walking 30 minutes a day on the treadmill on incline 12, and then what else am I doing? I think that's pretty much it. That's like the protocol that I'm following, which I end up doing carb cycling because of the high carb, low carb days.
Right.
So I'm actually implementing like all these different things. And so far, I mean, it's only been less than a week, but in that time I've dropped 10 pounds, and I like visibly every single morning I'm seeing more definition in my abs. So I'm losing fat. Like I'm seeing way good results from this. So I think this is what I'm at least going to stick with for now, at least. And I think this is so far this is the most effective thing that I've found. So
That's really interesting. So are you doing any kind of calorie counting?
Not really, because I'm eating so clean.
Yeah.
And I'm fasting until 5. So as long as I'm not picking out, like my calorie burn for a day is typically around 3,500 calories. And so if I'm just eating one meal a day at 5, and I'm eating chicken and like vegetables and maybe a baked potato on the carb days, I'm basically like, if I'm hitting like 12 to 1,500 calories, I'd be surprised. Like I'm certainly not hitting more than 1,500 calories a day on most days.
It's hard to eat that much chicken and broccoli.
Exactly, yeah. So I should be in a pretty good negative, pretty good deficit there. So I'm also eating sort of on the higher fat side, not going as extreme as I was before. Because again, I didn't see a huge benefit from doing that. But yeah, I've kind of combined everything. Now I'm kind of like, I should probably like put this all together into a diet plan, like, because I mean I've done so much experimentation now, and this is this is the most effective thing, and no one really is like advocating a protocol like this.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything quite like this before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I mean, so far it's been much better results than and it's so much easier to follow the Ultimate Diet 2.0.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to quit eating.
I'm also like using.
Chuck, we could call that the final diet.
Isn't that what ultimately means anyway? Is the last?
The ultimate die. But yeah, I'm also using hacks like Jello, sugar-free Jello.
Mm-hmm.
Like buying the cartons of those. They're like 5 calories each, so you can like and then 0-calorie creamer, right? And salad with balsamic vinegar dressing. So you can there's a lot of hacks you can do as well. So
cool.
Pop chips.
Wait, what?
Pop chips.
What are those?
They're these baked chips that are like a whole bag of pop chips is like 450 calories.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like you can get quite a bit of food for a very small amount of calories.
Interesting.
I was going to say my kids would love those chips made out of soda. We'll go for that.
So yeah. So that's it. So yeah, that's my update on that. So what's going on with you guys?
Go ahead, Josh.
Chuck. All right. I guess I'm up first. Well, so I had my Black Friday sale, and and it actually ended up. So I initially had thought that I was looking only at the transactions that had been recorded in Drip. Wes and I didn't really talk much while the sale was going on, and so I was watching in Drip, and it was kind of disappointing. It looked like we closed out the week at like around. I was showing like 31, 36 after like 4 or 5 days, so I was pretty sad about that. But then Wes said, "Oh no, it was actually double that."
Oh.
Yeah, so it ended up being we cleared 61.50 for the sale. So that was pretty encouraging. It actually tracked pretty well. Like so last year we made about right under 20,000, and so if you think about what last year I had just done my giveaway, I had gotten 186,000 subscribers, and then I had pared that down to about 90 or so, or 80,000 active subscribers who had actually opened emails and seemed engaged. And then this year I did the giveaway again, got about 30,000 new subscribers, and those were not pared down the same way. So it actually was probably more like 15,000 compared to last year's batch of 80,000. So that actually ended up tracking pretty well in terms of income with what we did last year. So I think I kind of have a baseline for what I could expect from a giveaway in terms of, overall, like how much revenue. I could probably figure out the revenue per subscriber pretty easily from that. But so that was encouraging. And Wes he just did a big launch for his React.js course, and that sold really well. So we're going to probably do an affiliate deal with that for the Sublime list in like January.
Nice. So what did you say that the number ended up being for the sale, the total?
Are you calculating on your Apple Watch?
No, I was just curious.
The number, it ended up being 61.50.
61.50. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
and
that's
we're
pretty
splitting that 50-50, so that'll be a nice little payday.
That's pretty good. And you marketed it to your existing list, plus you had new 30,000 subscribers?
Yeah. So most of the people on the list had already, like, easily 2/3 of the people on the list had already seen this pitch at least once.
Were you able to calculate how many of them that purchased were from the new 30K?
I didn't look at that. I could do that. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the residual.
Drip tends to choke on my list when I tell it to do things.
Yeah.
It's just a little too big. The worst, I have not been able. I've been trying to run some inactivity queries to do pruning, and it just chokes every time because it's just too much data to process.
That's pretty nuts that you picked up. I must have glanced over it when you talked about it last time, but that you picked up another 30K subscribers from a giveaway again.
Yeah. It didn't go super viral like last time, but yeah, I think I got around 40,000 entries, and then around 10,000 of them ended up being existing subscribers. So
gosh, if you can hit that, you should really be running this contest every quarter at least.
I think I'll probably do it at least once a year. I don't think I want to do it every single quarter.
What's the downside? There's no downside.
It takes up a lot. It makes a lot of noise and takes up a lot of bandwidth that I could use for other things. So, and plus I don't think the big push comes from my list, and if they get kind of tired of it, then I'm gonna get less and less of them sharing it every single time I do it. And so I think I would burn them out on it.
Well, okay, I disagree. Here's why. Because if you did this every quarter and you picked up 30K subscribers approximately every quarter, then those new subscribers are fresh, right? So you're going to, even though, you're going to have some part of your list, right? So it's going to be constantly renewed. You should at least try doing this every quarter and see what the results are. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that it's going to be...
I could try it again and just see, in January. I'm going to make a note to do that.
Because you could be hitting us like what you don't want to miss out on is the possible snowball effect of this because
Yeah.
I mean, this could be magic here, right? Let's say that you do this again in January and you pick up like 40K, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got a bigger snowball, and then you do it in the next quarter, and now you
Well,
pick up like
but
60K.
here's the thing, though. Like, I'm not. So basically, after all of that and sending the emails, the weekly emails and everything, I'm actually back to where, like, in terms of subscribers, I'm pretty much back to where I was ahead of the giveaway. So I had, like, before I did the giveaway, I think I had, like, maybe 54,000 or 50, like, right around 55,000.
Yeah.
And now I have about 60. I think I have about 65. So I just with the attrition of sending the emails.
But you got fresh blood in there, and
Yeah, that's good. I should try that. I'm gonna give it a shot.
You can also just experiment with the spacing, right? So you do them 3 months
Yeah.
apart, and then you can try
Yeah.
4 months apart and see where the
See
trade-offs
if it makes a
really are.
difference.
yeah.
Yep.
I would do a couple at 3 months apart, and then do a couple at 4 months apart.
Yeah, and I've got it pretty automated now. I think like I've got tweets set up in Edgar. So all I do when I'm doing a promotion now is I've got categories in Edgar, and I just go in and I just add time slots for that category.
Yeah, that
And
makes
so they're
sense.
not randomized, but they're like I space them out. Like when I did my sale, I had 3 slots per day, and I had like 3 or 4 tweets, and I just went in and added slots on the days that I knew I was going to be doing the sale, and then so it's pretty easy to do. I could do the giveaway. I could probably, it would only take me a couple hours to set everything up. I could also get fancy with some tagging, and so I don't like hit everybody every time.
Oh, that's true.
Burn
yeah.
the list out that way. But I mean, it's kind of like it's not a huge deal. I think basically I just send like one email to the list. It's not like I'm hitting them 10 times or anything. It's not like a sale where I'm sending a bunch of emails.
Oh, if you're only sending one email, I mean, the other thing
Yeah.
to consider too is like, there's no reason, like, I don't know, maybe this is a little extreme, but is there really any reason why you couldn't even just make this a monthly thing you do? It's like the monthly Sublime giveaway, and people know that it's monthly, and they, you say that you're going to do it monthly, and then the same people on your list re-enter every month because they want a chance at it, and they share it, and they're hoping to, if they've entered once, like. I'm not going to put this without insult. Well, it's fine because, but if you're stupid enough to like enter a competition thinking that you're going to win out of like thousands of people once, you're going to do it every time, right?
Perhaps,
you're not going to be
yeah.
like, man, I didn't win out of thousands of people. Dang, I'm never entering a contest again. You're just going to keep on doing that. So if you have it every month,
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I go to a casino here and people are like sliding their card trying to because they do $1,000 drawing or something, and I'm like, come on, really? It's not even worth it. Like, you think you're gonna win? Like, but people are there like every hour on the hour sliding their cards. So that mentality is, I mean, your list is going to be full of that mentality because people signed up in the first place, right? Knowing, I would never enter a competition like that because I know that there's like the chance of winning is so small. So
Well, unless you enter my Thrive competition, which is actually
Yeah,
that's
1 in 10
fantastic.
chance?
Yeah, I haven't even looked at that. Let me see. It's not quite 1 in 10, but it's actually
I know, but
it's pretty. No, it's
The
actually
way you
not
talk
that
about
far.
oh really?
Yeah, it's actually not that far off of that. Let me see.
I should never have bought Thrive themes. I should have just.
Yeah, you could totally have. Oh man, I can't.
But yeah, you might be able to just do a monthly competition. I was thinking about doing that for my soft skills book, honestly, is like do a monthly giveaway.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the nice thing about that would be potentially that it could get me like some backlinks, like almost like a daily deals type of site. Like people are like aware that I do it. So I have 92 contestants so far. So.
Yeah. One other thing, though, that I kind of see with some of this is that it's not just I'm getting on the list to enter the drawing. I mean, I'm sure some people are, but the other thing I see with this is that if your list is somewhere I want to be anyway, then why not, why not have some small chance of getting something else from it?
Right. Yep.
And so you
Yeah.
pitch both,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, look, you're going to get great content, and you have a chance to win. Whatever.
Yeah. Yep. And now that I've got the other thing is now that I've got Mailchimp set up to pipe these entries right into the list, that helps as well because I didn't like the way it would there was this gap. It was like I'd do a giveaway for 2 weeks and then they wouldn't hear from me again until the giveaway was over. Now they'll be immediately put into the mailing list and start getting the emails and everything. So when the giveaway comes out and they didn't win, they're less likely to just table flip and leave.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'll have to maybe I'll give that a try. I don't want to. I'll have to think about how I do that with the promotion that I'm doing for West too. I don't want to step on that too much, but
yeah, I'm trying to find that a similar balance because I'm doing a conference every month.
Right.
And so I don't want it to feel like I'm marketing to them all the time, but I do want to make sure that they know about the conference. And then if I pull anything else together, I mean, I've been looking at doing a Pluralsight course. I've been looking at writing a couple of ebooks that I've started and never finished.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, so it's like, how do I balance all this out so that I'm not constantly, give, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, here's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to give to you, and then, here's the occasional update and request that you buy something from me.
So yeah, so that's been so that was a pleasant. I was happy with that sale, the way that went down. Yeah, it's good. And then so yeah, I'm actually and Wes just did his React launch. Now his plate is kind of clear. I'd asked him if he wanted to do another Sublime related product, and he said that he was pretty tied up with his launch. And this was like 6 or 8 months ago. But now his plate's clear, and so we're talking about doing another product, another Sublime related product here. So
nice.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I might do like I'd like to do a 30 or 60 day drip course where you get you get basically get a ground up education in Sublime across several days. Actually, very much like Copy Hour, where you get content every day, so you're practicing stuff every day, and you get the spaced repetition, and you actually learn some stuff instead of just reading a book and then forgetting about all of it. I think that would be really valuable, and I could probably charge anywhere from $97 to like $197 for that. So it would give me an upper limit on, or an upper level package that I could offer.
I definitely like that idea, especially if you're going like step by step on how you're actually improving someone's skills.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, and we'd have like drills, so it'd be like watch this video or read this short 200-word email and then practice these things or install this plugin, stuff like that. So it would be hands-on and iterative and build on itself. So Wes is thinking he might be interested in working with me on that. We're gonna have a meeting next week to talk about some details. So that would be pretty sweet. I'd really like to get now that John and I are gonna be working together. I'm thinking I'm gonna revisit Sublime and I really want to get that just automated. Get some good autoresponder set up and actually make that thing a consistent moneymaker ongoing, because it would really, for me, just personally, it would be nice because it would be like a period on the end of that chapter of my life, because I've got even just like with my copywriting stuff, just my stories kind of like that. A lot of people get into copywriting and they just jump. They've never really sold their own stuff so much, so that they're jumping in. They're learning on somebody else's dime, and I learned a lot of this stuff on my own time, on my own money, and so having some really nice closure on that where I've got like an automated money machine of my own would be just really nice.
How much are you bringing in right now on Sublime stuff on average?
Not much from the books. The books I'm only getting around $200 or $300 a month, but the sales that we do, the sales, and then if you average it all out between the sales and the advertising, it's probably a couple $1,000s a month.
Okay.
Well, it's definitely it's probably like around $3,000 a month, averaged out, but it's really irregular. So.
Yeah, the question is like, well, the reason why I was asking on that is basically like, what can you make so that you can make it hands off? Like, how can you implement systems in place? And then also, like, if you can just, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, if it's profitable enough for the Sublime stuff, you could basically hire someone to essentially manage it, or maybe Wes is the person. I guess
Yeah.
he's kind of it. And then you basically like, you have processes in place, you have like some autoresponders, you have like sales that go like a schedule, like a calendar, where you don't have to touch it at all, where it basically runs itself. You've got the contests that kick off every so often, or some of it could be totally automated, some of it would be the responsibility of the person, the president of that company, essentially. Like,
yeah. John, would you like to be the president of SublimeTextTips.com?
No, thank you.
Mr. President.
But that's what I was thinking, is because that would make a lot of sense. And then you've got your money-making machine that's just, I mean, it doesn't even have to generate you a huge amount of money at that point, but if it's generating you like $1,000 a month, essentially passively, and it's growing to some degree, which I think if you implement the right systems, then you can have it grow as well. Then I think that's what I would aim for. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I need to figure out a way to make it grow. Everything I've tried with it so far to make it grow, I've tried a bunch of different stuff, and none of it actually made it grow. It was like pushing on a rope.
Yeah.
Like you're pushing and pushing, and like it just bunches up, and nothing happens. And that's everything I've tried so far has been, with the exception of Twitter. Like Twitter, that still continues to work well, for me to grow the Twitter account and use that to grow the mailing list.
Well, your competitions have been the thing by far that has grown more than anything, right? Like,
yes.
So the giveaways, exactly. I think is that's why I'm saying, like, if you can do, even if, I don't know, I would be seriously considering whether or not you could do a monthly giveaway that.
Yeah. I suspect that what would happen, I'll try another one here. I suspect what's going to happen is that every time I do it, the return's going to get lower and lower. So if I did like 6 in a row, I wouldn't be surprised if I was getting like just a few thousand people from it. So, or I mean, it's also possible though that every once in a while one of them goes supernova again.
Yeah.
And I recreate that. So I don't know.
I'd give it a shot and see.
Yeah, it's worth trying.
Because what if it doesn't? What if it grows every time? Then you've got like this.
I just have so much history with this.
Yeah.
And every time I think I have something that's really gonna like, oh, this will really grow it, and it's like no.
No, but so, I mean, just the fact that you're able to add 30,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, so the other thing is I might be able to figure out a way to use that in conjunction with Facebook.
Yeah.
And actually get some leverage, because with Facebook, I actually have like 4,300 page likes from that last contest I did.
Oh wow, nice.
So so I've got like a decent little audience there, and then I could potentially do some remarketing, some Facebook remarketing. If I could get the clicks for anywhere, even remotely at a reasonable price, like I don't know how they do it, because I see people who are getting like 5 and 10 cent clicks on Facebook, and everything I've ever tried with Facebook has always been like ended up being 50 cents to $1 per click. It's the same kind of range as Google AdWords, and I don't know if it's like the markets I've tried are programmers for Sublime and marketing. So I could see the marketing audience being over marketed to, and just clicks being really expensive there. But programmers, I wouldn't think, like, there's going to be some, but I would think it would be less, less oversaturated than maybe marketing would.
I think some people that are also getting these really low click prices on Facebook, I think one of the things that they might be doing is that they have a huge number of likes on their Facebook fan page, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're putting blog content out there, and then when they get something that connects and is getting a bunch of likes and shares, then they click the boost and they boost that. And so like Facebook gives you a ridiculously cheap price if you're boosting something that's already going viral. So then they just get like additional boost out of that.
I mean, my client in the running niche, they were getting email signups for under $1. The email signups, so like they were getting conversions for less than $1. So they were paying, I'm guessing like 5 to 10 cents a click in the running niche.
But here's the thing, this is what I was talking to the one guy at that non-jobs thing that was really pretty good in the advertising and building these kind of money machines. And one of the things that he said that just like stuck with me, he's like, it doesn't matter, like your advertising doesn't have to be effective. Like some people spend so much time trying to get the cost per click down and all this, and he's like, if your back end is strong enough, like if you're
that's absolutely right.
If every customer that you get, every email you collect is worth $10, it doesn't matter if you paid $1 or $2 per click. It really doesn't.
Well,
you're making so much money that I mean, you can optimize that later, but my point is like the optimization from going from $2 to $1 a click, for example, is so, or per customer acquisition, let's say, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're making enough money on the back end, like it doesn't really matter. Like
it's a lot harder though than you think to make that much money on the back end. That's the problem.
Well, but
like for me, my subscriber value with Sublime right now is probably somewhere between $2 and $3 probably.
Right.
I'd have to. It's hard to. I don't have good tracking set up, so I don't really have an exact number, but it's between $2 and $3. And then if I do this $197 product, that might jump up to $3 or $4. So it helps, but it's not gonna make. I'm not gonna be able to make $1 a click profitable, no matter what I do. Like I can't sell a $1,000 coaching package.
Right.
Off of Sublime, and that's a lot of times what makes those funnels actually profitable in most cases is that the really, really high end offer of like $1,000 or $2,000 product.
Exactly.
You can't. So so you can't always do it in every market.
Well, but if you can't do it, then you probably aren't going to be able to be very profitable advertising anyway, because you'll be like skimming off of. I mean, if your margin is like 10%, it's too razor edge.
And click costs increase over time. Period. Like it's just a law of nature that you're going to pay more over time for.
But to me, your fountain is, your contest, your giveaways.
Yeah.
Not only are you exceptionally good at them and have a reputation for them, but that is by far the biggest, boon to your Sublime. I mean, you're getting more bang for your buck out of that. It costs you almost pretty much nothing to do it, and you're getting like a huge number of subscribers in return on it. So, I mean, don't even worry about Facebook advertising. Like just get that contest thing churning as best as you can, and that's or try to find similar things around that, and I think that's your best way to proceed.
Yeah, I will try it and see what happens. I could even I could even modify it so that I'm only like one way I could modify it would be, instead of sending it to everyone, I only send it to the people that were in the last contest or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think there are a lot of things to try here. The thing that's really interesting to me as well is just from the standpoint of, I would love to have a list that's a tenth that size that I could market to. too.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, keep in mind that you really do have a very powerful machine in front of you that you can take advantage of to
Yeah.
make some money with. And,
Yeah. It's I mean it's useful. It's a good asset. I keep getting tempted to like sell it, and then every time I do that, it's like I happen to do a sale, and I'm like, no, I think I'll keep it. But yeah, it's a little frustrating because just because of the niche and the focus of it is so limited that I can't. It has a definite top end. I'm not near the top end yet, but it has a definite top end to it. But it's worth. I think it's worth building out some more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, regardless too, like if you did sell it, like you'd still want to do the steps to automate, right? To turn it into so that you have predictable revenues, so that you could maximize the sales price. So, but I think you can get to this. But this is the hardest part of business. I mean, this is what I'm finding now, right? Because I'm trying to do the same thing with Simple Programmer, and that's what we're going to be working on. And I'm getting more and more success with it, but I'm like having to hire people and build processes and these things, and so it's becoming more and more autopilot by doing that. But it's like it's the sticking point. Like I was just telling my wife last night, I was like, man, this last year of like Simple Programmer has just been like tough, because it's like this is hard. Like hiring people and automating processes and systems is like, this is stuff I wasn't used to and prepared for, and you fail so much and you screw up like so I guess what I'm saying is like this is the most valuable skill, right? Once you learn how to build a business and to sell something online, then turning it into a cash machine to make it as automatable as possible, but having processes, being able to hire people to run those processes is really the key skill. Because once you can do that, then you can just like start building, your whole farm of businesses.
Yep.
So
cool.
So yeah, so it's worth devoting the time
to
learn this.
Yeah, and I think it'll just be valuable for me. Like it'll be actually good overlap between what we're doing, John. Like I'll basically be doing a lot of the same stuff. So I'll learn it in one, either for me or for you, and then do it on the other side. So,
exactly. Yep.
But yeah, so and then my other major thing is I'm launching my coaching program here. So I have been, for my daily emails, I've been just having people click on a link, and if they're interested, and I've actually gotten, let me look at my numbers here. I have about 50. I'm closing in on about 1,600 subscribers on my list, and I'm at 1584. And I have gotten, so far Let's see here, where is it? Yeah, 54 people have said, yes, I'm interested in hearing more about your coaching program. So that's pretty cool. What I'm looking to do initially is just have like 2 or 3 people, and it's just going to be like $250 a month initially, while I kind of figure out the whole process and get my feet wet. And so I actually have I actually sold one already I haven't even announced the official offer yet, but Kestrel is going to be my first guinea pig here, so he'll hear his name here, I'm sure, next week. But yeah, we're gonna start working on stuff probably next week.
Did you announce the pricing to your list?
No. So only so far Kestrel emailed me and said I'm really interested and I want the details. So I just put an email together for him to give him an idea of what it was going to be, and I need to do like a sales page. I'm probably going to do a sales page, or at least a detailed email explaining the whole thing, and so I have a place to send people when they're interested.
And you said you got how many clicks on it? Like 200 something?
I've gotten 54 clicks.
Oh.
I've got 54 people tagged in Drip who've said I'm interested at some level. So the goal here, I want to have like at least, I'm going to probably do 2 or 3 initially, and then if that goes well, open it up to maybe another 2 or 3 the next month.
Oh,
and
I
then
see.
I'm going to start to increase the pricing, so probably go 250, 500, and then maybe 1,000 or 750.
Okay, okay.
My
that
my
makes
goal
sense.
long term is to have 5 to 10 people at like 10 or 5 to 10 people at $1,000 a month. It's like where I'd like to
And
be in 6 months.
this is coaching for copywriting or
Yeah, it's generally I have to like nail down the offer. That's like one of the things I'm still working on. But it's basically what I told Kestrel is it's like focused on email, getting your email marketing set up, and but it's also I'll kind of have to tailor it to what people actually need. So if they need a sales page or if they need general marketing strategy or whatever, then we'll work on that too. So it'll be somewhat customized. But I need to figure out like what my pitch is. And I've got one thing that's been super valuable is I have had for the last year I had a survey on my thank you pages so that whenever people opted in to my list, they would get a survey, and I have like 500 responses for that. So I printed all those out, and I've just been reading through them, and like there's some, I mean, people, it's amazing like what people have been willing to share with me, like about their life situations and what they really need and the help they need. So that's super valuable as a tactic. I'm gonna be probably doing that with Sublime as well. Works really, really well. Just an embedded like SurveyMonkey survey at the end on the thank you page, and it's like it's completely automated. Every single person that subscribes gets offered that, and I do like a drawing for a Amazon gift card to get people to fill it out, which is funny because like I say in the thing, I say on the thank you page, I say I will pick one of the most helpful answers. And then people will go through the survey and just like A, B, 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 and they'll just like put it in garbage, and I'm like, this is not how do you think you're gonna win?
Right.
Like right above this it says helpful, helpful responses. Yeah, so I've been excited. Yeah, that's been going pretty well. So we'll see. My goal is to just I want to have any slots that I open up, I want them to sell out instantly. Basically, is my goal. So, I actually really like what I'm planning to do is I'm going to only open this up once a month for new people to come in. So it'll give me some scarcity, and the way that I'm structuring it, I've been a little bit worried about like, well, what if I don't sell out the slots? That will be embarrassing. So what I'm doing is like, I'm going to make it an application process. So I'm going to send out the emails I send out every month are going to be like, apply here, and you'll have to meet certain criteria to be accepted anyway. So I'm going to make people apply, and so my push once a month, I'll probably do like a 1 week time frame where I'm just pushing the coaching, and it'll be apply, 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 apply. And then if I don't take anybody or if nobody applies, nobody will know.
Yeah.
Except the people listening to this. So
no, the apply is good.
That way I'm like I'm not exposing myself, because like I was really worried like if I send an email saying I've got 2 slots available, apply, buy now, and then nobody buys, like what do I do the next day? Right. Do I say there's and like after a point it gets pathetic, I've got 3 or 4 days go by and I'm still like telling people that I have 2 slots available.
Yeah, so, there's a lot of good things about the apply. I mean, another good thing about the apply is that if you make someone fill out a thing, then they're already doing some work.
Yeah.
They're investing in it. Another good thing is you'll be able to filter the applicants. Like if you have so many slots, you'll be able to pick the best ones that are most likely to be successful and to pay. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's just a lot of really good stuff that you can do with that. I think it's going to be much more likely that people are going. Plus, you're creating that exclusivity. You're basically prize framing it, so you're turning it around from them. From you trying to appeal to them appealing to you. There's a lot of good things there.
Yeah. So.
Plus, you could change your mind and open up more slots, like if you do that. So
right. Yeah. So that's cool. And then I guess the only other thing is for me is I'm just basically now. So now that I've kind of got John and I have we're working on finalizing our little deal. I kind of know, like, I know what I'm going to be doing as far as like consulting for the next few months. So I'm kind of I'm basically just now looking to start to build my list and my audience. So I've been reaching out, trying to get on more podcasts, and
Mhm.
I don't know if I mentioned this. I forget if I told you this too, Chuck, but I had talked to Bob Bly to try to figure out if there was like a book or something I could do with him to get him to promote me to his list, and he was like, "Well, why don't you just send me something and I'll email it out." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay, yeah, that'll work. That'll work." So, I think what I'm going to do, I want to do some kind of analysis of the email sequence that I did for John. So I don't know if that's what that's going to look like. It might just like make it into a Word doc and then do comment bubbles or something, so that people can see the context and see my analysis of it in context. But I'm going to put something like that together. The other thing is I pitched John McIntyre from the Email Marketing Podcast about doing a show about this. So if he wants to do that, I might offer the recording of that as my lead magnet for Bob's list. I need to get I need to get a better lead magnet before I do that, because that could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 subscribers easily, I think.
Yeah.
If I come up with a good offer. And I'm going to be speaking it looks like I'm going to be on Chuck's freelancer remote conf in February. So
Cool.
I would tell you that you're the first confirmed speaker, but you're not.
well, I guess it's good for you to not tell me that then. Yeah, so I'm starting to look for more opportunities like that to get my name out there and just grow my audience and try to help people. So it's been a night. I've actually, my mindset has shifted as I've been working out this deal with John. It's actually been nice because I'm not so worried now about like, oh my gosh, like I have to get a client lined up for next month. So I'm relaxing a little bit more and more in like a, let me see what I can do to really help people kind of mindset.
Zen Josh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. A little bit less stressed out. So that's me.
Now I'm jealous because I've been going as frenetically as possible this week, and stuff keeps coming up. Like my sister came into town, and so we went to the Mormon temple last night, and then we did a family thing on Tuesday and a family thing on Sunday, and we have another family thing this coming Sunday, and Monday and Wednesday.
Oh my goodness.
And tomorrow. I mean, it is nuts. And then I've been trying to frantically get the rest of the all remote comps thing together because I've got just a huge number of people that want to buy tickets to the conferences and want to buy season passes after Black Friday, and
nice.
That's
a good problem to have.
That kind of stuff mostly works, and so I have to make it completely work. Because I don't feel good about, oh, well, we'll just kind of fudge it, and the stuff that I can fudge without people knowing, I am, but it's still, because I can just go add them to the database and what have you, but
yeah,
it's not, so anyway, so I've been trying to do that, and it's just been nuts. The Black Friday thing worked out. I sold 5 season passes, so that came out to about $3,500.
Nice.
So, I was pretty happy with that, especially considering that I kind of last minute said, "Hey, folks, you can buy it."
Yeah.
What was your list size on that again?
About 4,000.
Okay.
So it was kind of an impromptu thing. The list really isn't very warm as far as marketing goes.
I got emails from you, and I was like, I didn't even know I was on your list.
Yeah, you must be in there somewhere where you said, "I want to know about new episodes of one of the shows." But anyway, so I keep going back and forth, and John and I talked a little bit about this last time as to whether I want hear Chuck's thoughts every week, or whether I want to just do that as part of the, hey, you signed up for the episode updates, and here you get another one every week or every other week or something that's Chuck thinking. I keep going back and forth on that. If I do that, though, I may want to just give them the opportunity to opt out of that bit if they want to. I don't know.
Yeah. Are you in Drip? Using
Yes.
Drip? Okay. I mean, it would be really easy to do that either way. So
Yeah, because they just click the link and it untags them basically.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more inclined, like I said, I think last time, to just keep them on the list and just let people know when they sign up on the confirmation that
They're
you'll
gonna
occasionally get
Yeah.
some additional emails when I'm sharing like stuff, the JS Remote Conf and you know and other kind of helpful stuff that's related.
Yeah.
Just because like I don't know, I mean like your list size isn't even really that big, so you're
No.
not driving a lot of people to your podcast by the people are subscribing in their phones, right? They're not like if I guess okay, so this is what I'm saying. This is where I'm getting at. If you pissed off the people that wanted to be notified by email about episodes, and so they unsubscribed, and they ended up not being notified, so they ended up missing episodes. You're not even going to see a blip in your viewership, your listenership, your podcast. So
that's true. I
there's
did
no
put it out there
downside.
because I put it out there as kind of a nice thing for the listeners.
Yeah.
I didn't, I put it out there because it increases my opportunities to market. But yeah, I didn't put it out there because it's going to significantly grow the podcast listening audience, because it isn't.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
people are going to get onto that list because they went to the web page and said, "Yeah, I'd like to get an email every time there's a new one," and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I think
so
I think the thing to do would be to reframe that so that it's not like a glorified RSS feed.
right.
Like I think it should be like a value add. You want to make it like a value add, not like
Right.
what Ben Settle does is he sends out subscription, like his lead magnet is he sends out the transcripts.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to get his transcripts from his weekly show, you get on the list, and then they send daily emails to that list.
Right.
But and then just like make it so that it's a value. There's some additional value that they get from being on the list, and then I would also, it might be worth. I mean, it might be too late at this point, but it might be worth saying, look, I know you signed up for this, but this is how I'm going to be running this list from now on.
I think
If you
I
don't
will do
like
that.
it, you can opt out here and just make it real clear to people what you're doing, so they aren't like just confused or something. How did I get on this list?
Actually,
Yeah, I think I will, but what I think I'll do is I'll do that, and then I'll also, when people, I'll remove the, hey, subscribe via email option. Well, I can leave those forms in, but effectively what it'll do is it'll send them an email and say, hey, thanks for subscribing to the devchat.tv news
Yes.
list.
Yeah.
You have, and then it'll let them know if you're tagged as Ruby Rogues because you signed up through the Ruby Rogues form. Then it says, it looks like you wanted to get emailed every time there's a new Ruby Rogues, and you will. Here are the other shows if you want to get those, and then you're also going to get my email every week. And that way it just kind of sets up that expectation. And then, I'll just send an email out to the people who are on the list and say, I'm probably
Things be
just going to say,
changing.
I've been getting these awesome emails every day from this guy named Josh Earl, and I kind of want to do the same thing for you. So I'll take your name in vain and blame it on you, and then I'll send them a bunch of good stuff.
I can be the bad guy.
and then when people sign up for the email, you should have them like apply. You have to fill out this application to be part of the email list.
There you go.
There you go.
Are you a good person?
I think that the application form for that is called first name and email.
Yeah. Have you a pulse? You know what? I
Yeah.
don't even care about that.
Oh,
And
that
that way-
reminded me of something for email, by the way. Because with this, you're definitely going to use the liquid templates and Drip.
Uh-huh.
But I realized something that, like, for Black Friday sale, I had tagged people for they bought 10 steps or how to market yourself.
Mhm.
And so I sent a Black Friday email to everyone who didn't have one or the other.
Uh-huh.
So if you purchased one of the products but not both, then you got the email.
Mhm.
But I should have used liquid the templating system to only show the sale, like the same email, but just made it conditional so that it only
Yeah.
showed one product being on sale if you had already bought one. So then
Yep.
people wouldn't ask and say, "Whoa, why is this discounted? I bought it at full price."
Oh, that's interesting.
But you probably want to do the same thing because you want to customize for Ruby Rogues, for JavaScript, Java, for all those ones, right? So that you don't just say, "Hey, welcome to DevChat TV." You kind of want to say you want to customize it based on those tags.
Yeah. Thanks for signing up for the Ruby Rogues list. This includes
Exactly.
all these other things, and you can get these other things as part of your subscription.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
But I keep forgetting to use that part of Drip, which is pretty useful.
So you can conditionally add or subtract content based on tags.
Exactly. Yep.
I haven't tried doing big blocks of content yet. That would be interesting. Is it easy, or does it get real ugly? Like, do you have to do it all like in one big line, John?
No, I think it's pretty easy to do. I don't think you have to do it all in one big line. So
So far all I've used it for is the hey, like when I put people's first name.
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
Emails. That's the only thing I've used it for so far. So.
Yeah.
But with the
Liquid
preview
has a
feature
GIF built into it, and you just go.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
It's nice too because then you can one thing I've been wanting to do is to have a template to have a section at the bottom of the email of every email so that you could globally change all of your emails to promote a thing that's going on.
Mm.
That would be nice so that you could fill that in and get that. I got to figure out how to do that, but that's one thing that I would like to do. And then also just to conditionally
One way to do that would be the template, to change the template, but I guess that wouldn't work for if you want it to be.
That's what I've been looking to do for sponsorships, is just add that to the template and then just update.
Yeah, I think John's thing's a little different though.
But I guess that might work. I mean, you could add it to the
Edit
template.
the template, yeah. Yeah, just so you don't have to change the template on every email. That would be the bad part.
Oh yeah. Unless you can globally. Well, I guess if you globally change the template, then I don't know. There's probably some good way to do that, but it'd be nice because if you're having a sale, if you're doing a thing, you don't mind plugging it at the bottom of every email, so.
Yeah, although I wouldn't want to do that if you have a specific call to action. Like if the email is designed to try to get people to, use buy Bluehost, I wouldn't want to put a competing call to action in there for a product sale.
So would it be a horrible idea, or maybe a great idea then, for my template on devchat.tv to have here's where you can subscribe to shows, and here are the next 2 conferences coming up at the end of each one, or is that kind of spammy and gross?
It kind of depends on. I mean, it really depends on the format of the emails and what you're. If it's, I think that's more of a newslettery type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For the type of emails that I do, I wouldn't want to do that.
Right.
Because it kind of it's just kind of clutter at the bottom and detracts. But if you're doing more of with the Sublime newsletter, that's a newsletter, and we've got sections to that, and there's ads and that type of thing. To me, I keep those separate. So you kind of have to decide what is the purpose of the email really.
Okay.
You could do a weekly kind of content roundup newsletter.
Yeah, I thought about doing that too.
That wouldn't be bad.
So I could do the weekly roundup newsletter. Then I could have the periodic, which would probably be every 1 to 2 weeks. The little, hey, this is what I learned and I wanted to share.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what you've been doing. I had this insight and I think you'll enjoy it. And then any of the episode emails that they want come out.
Mm-hmm.
Emails come out.
That would get you probably 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah. It'll get people at least used to opening my email.
Yep.
And then when there's a sale, I can kind of take advantage of the fact that they're opening my email.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So the other thing that I've kind of been thinking about doing, I'm slowing down on the email to that bunch of people here for at least a couple of weeks because I emailed them like 6 times in 4 days or 4 times in 6 days or something. And but if I add these other features to that list, then I could definitely I could kind of ramp those up. But I got an email from Amy Hoy.
Oh yeah.
And she and I exchange emails usually a few times a year. Just
Okay.
hey, what's going on, and do you want to come on one of the shows, or do you want to speak at one of the conferences? I've done both of those things. She's pretty busy, so it's kind of been hit or miss as to whether she could. But she just did a 24-hour write a book thing. She did it last year for Just Effing
Yeah.
Ship.
Yep.
And this year she's doing. I don't remember if she was updating Just Effing Ship or if it was something else. But
The ultimate Just Effing Ship.
Wonder where people start getting that idea from.
2.0.
Sounds kind of familiar. Like
Yeah. But I kind of want to do one, so I'm kind of thinking that I'll get this list stuff organized as far as what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think either at the end of December or the beginning of January, I'm actually going to come around and say, look, I'm going to create this sub list, or basically they can click a link if they want to get the emails about it, where I'm going to do something like that, where it's a 24-hour push to get a project done and out the door, and just see if and I'm going to let people vote on which project it is, because
that's cool.
I've got 3 or 4 that I've got in the pike that I've been thinking about for a while or have actually started on, but not gotten very far on, and so I'll let them pick the one they want, and then, or they can pick all the ones they want, and then when I get it done, then they get notified, and hey, here's how it went, and you can look at my blog, and here's all the, here's me looking sick with too much Dr. Pepper in my system or something, and I actually went and fed the baby in the middle of it. I mean, I don't know, but so it kind of builds that community sense around the product, and you all picked it and stuff like that, and just see if I could do something like that.
That's pretty cool. I like it.
But
yeah.
I don't know if I can do it like right on the heels of this Black Friday email out to the list binge.
I wonder if we should all try to do that, if we should do another one of those sort of competitions, and we all do a 24-hour challenge, each one of us build some product and sell it. I mean, this time it wouldn't be like to make $100 in 24 hours. You could use your list, you could use your resources, but it would just be like create a product and sell it.
Yep.
That'd be kind of fun. We should commit to it while Derek's not here, so he'll have to do it.
Derek's actually pretty good at this kind of thing, I think. With his packages and pulling everything together, he's really kind of got it. I kind of want to get it, and I think this is a good way to go. Okay, these are the parts that really hung me up. But I also want to do it just because it sounds like a really interesting way to both draw people in, and for me to just say, look, nothing else matters for 24 hours except for eating and using the bathroom and maybe sleeping a little bit. And, I'm going to get something out there that I wanted to put out there for a while. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you didn't participate in our first challenge when we did it, so you haven't gotten to experience this fun.
Did I detect the hesitation in there around fun?
It's definitely a challenge. It's definitely stressful, but
yeah. So I'm looking at doing that, and then I'm also I want to do a giveaway, but I'm not quite sure where that fits in with all this other stuff that I want to do, because I feel like it's a lot of stuff to throw at a list at once, and so I need to kind of space it out a bit.
You could do it. You could do the giveaway weekly, Chuck. That would.
Oh, that's right.
That would be awesome.
That's what we were just talking about. I know you just came off the Black Friday sale, but F you! Check this out!
Chuck, are you promoting the lists on your podcast?
I am not, and I really need to.
That. Yeah. If you get a good lead magnet in place for each one of those, you're going to feel a lot better about that.
That's something that I really want to do. In fact, I gave a talk yesterday about being more productive as a programmer,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of want to distill that into like a 10 or 20 page ebook
Mm.
and give that away as a lead magnet.
Just have it transcribed, and then
And then clean it up. And
clean it
add
up,
stuff.
and then package it with the audio or the video.
Ooh, youth mode.
Yeah, that would be great. That would work
Yeah.
really well because it would be have a lot of cross appeal. So
I don't know if I'd use it as a lead magnet though, because the only thing is like
it could be a $7 product or
yeah.
more even, but I think like I mean I don't know, if you've got nothing now, you can always turn it on and sell it later.
That's
So,
true.
I would.
Yeah.
Well, and I could actually use it to create some scarcity as far as getting on my list and just say, hey,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, I'm switching
Yeah.
it up. It's not going to be free anymore, so if you want it, go join the list this week.
Yep.
And that way, maybe I'll get a little bit of a surge to my list before I pull it down and put something else up.
Do it for a couple months, maybe even, and then take it down.
Okay, here's an idea though too for a lead magnet, because I was just thinking like for a lead magnet, the best one is usually something that is very quick to consume and is extremely relevant to the thing that you're, you know, like a content upgrade type of thing.
Mhm.
So what if you offered content upgrades for your podcast where it was like sign up and you'll get like extra episodes, or like, and maybe you record like a behind the scenes, or like something like you know, the outtakes, or I don't know, something that's like an extra podcast episode, or something to do with the podcast that you could that you could
Yeah, maybe.
start with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or maybe you interview one of the guests, like, or they have some kind of, you give a guest like a 5-minute like edition that they just record for you solo,
Mhm.
and you give that away, you know, or you have a few of them, or you do it every so often, like once a month, so it's not too, so it doesn't create a big burden on you, but
Right.
it's something that because you got to think, like, if they're already listening to the podcast, then if you can offer them something directly related to that interest of listening to podcasts,
So just a
That's-
10-minute video that's, hey, let's catch up for 5 minutes, and then what's new and what we talked about for 5 minutes, and then call it a wrap.
yeah, something like that, yeah, where it'd be like you can just easily produce this thing and you can easily like give it away as some additional
Mhm.
podcast, or maybe you've got like, maybe you put together the best of, oh, this is it, I got it, okay, this is perfect. It won't be too hard to do. Get your most popular episodes of every podcast, right?
Right.
Put that together into like a single document or PDF
Mhm.
that is all that they're linked to, and some kind of organization for that, and then just tell people that this is the best. You know, you sign up here, and then you'll get you sign up for the email list, and you'll get the best of all the best episodes, the highly rated, the most impactful ones that you have to listen to. So, you know, offering them the biggest bang for their buck, and that, I think that would be a very high appeal. Like,
Well, I wouldn't have to do any work. I just go pull the numbers and look.
exactly. Yep.
John, are you encouraging me to be lazy? 'Cause
Yeah, I
kinda
really like
it.
that idea. I like that idea because you're spoon feeding them like back the content. You could even, I would even suggest dripping some of those back to them, like
Oh, yeah.
having an autoresponder that drips out the links and like pitches each episode.
Uh-huh.
If the call to action is just listen to
Oh,
the
there we go.
episode.
Sort of like
So-
an email course, except
Yep.
it's
Yep.
here's number 10. Here's number 9.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I like it. That's good.
Yeah, and then it's fast to consume, right? And
Right.
and it's also redirecting them back to your content, so you're getting like a double bang for that.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
plus you're also redirecting them to your best stuff, which
Yes.
is going to leave a more favorable impression. So
Yeah, the other thing too is that I could actually, you know, as I have time, go back with each show and build like little action guides for each one. So it's just a page. You know, it'd take me like one listen, maybe a listen and a little bit more of each of those episodes when I get a chance, and then it's like, you know, so I made an action guide for all the number ones, so I can put that on there. You get an action guide for the top episode
Yeah.
as kind of the crowning one. And then if I decide I want to do it for number 2 or number 3, I can do that later. Or I can have somebody else go in and do it for me, and then I can review it before I put it up there.
Oh, you could also do with that.
One of the other hosts do it.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, John?
I was going to say also add the top picks from like your overall like Ruby Rogue's top picks and top, because since you do those picks every time, just pick some of the best ones and make those affiliate links. Now you're like adding value to people, and you're gonna make money from it too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dang, I know what I'm doing next week.
Yeah, Chuck, I think for you, like getting those podcasts, feeding your email list is got to be a number one priority.
Yeah, it's the top one because everything else will come out of it. Marketing the conferences will be a million times easier with a larger list. Getting any other products I want out there, same thing. Giveaways, same thing.
And you think about it this way: you're probably missing 500 to 2,000 subscribers per month for every month that you don't get this done.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easily. So I mean, that is like, you could have a list of 30,000 people in a year or two.
I honestly think I could.
And you definitely need to implement with this the text sign up thing.
Text to join.
Yeah, you got to do it for this because so many people are going to be on their mobile phones and not going to. You got to make the call to action as simple as possible so they can just do that.
Yep.
Yeah, the text to join thing is definitely on my list, but yeah, I've been kind of focused on some of this other stuff. So.
But yeah, I mean, just set up a simple version. When you do this, I would not make this go live without the text to join, just because it's going to have such a big impact. Like it'll make a much bigger difference. Because I would expect if you do the text to join that you're going to get like 3 times the opt-in rate as you would if you have someone on their mobile phone try to click over to or go to a web page. You tell them.
Right. Yep. Oh, this is cool. Quick side note: I just got an email from Perry Marshall that I wrote.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun email. So I'm actually going to be. So I talked to John Fancher is Perry's main guy who writes most of them, and he is one of the things we talked about was they don't do a good job of promoting their membership, his monthly membership club, the Mastermind Club. They don't really do a great job of promoting it. They grow it mainly by tacking it onto single product sales. So you get like a 60-day free trial of membership of the Mastermind Club when you join, when you buy something else. So I'm going to be pitching Mastermind Club in a lot of the emails that I write, but they're mostly content emails. But then I'll just throw in a little pitch at the end. And so this one was cool because I'd heard there was an old Mastermind Hangout, he does these monthly calls, and they're free for members. And so he had this lady named Rebecca on, and she is a Myers-Briggs expert. So she was taking Myers-Briggs and applying it to marketing, which I've never heard before, and it was really interesting because markets have personalities. So software developers tend to be more introverted. So there's certain things, if with introverts, if you push them too hard to make a decision, they're gonna balk and they're gonna freak out. And when you look at it through this lens of Myers-Briggs and personality types, it gives you a whole new way to think about the people that you're selling to. So I wrote this email, and Perry has this great story about one of the first marketing seminars that he went to was for Matt Fury, who you know, John. You met him, and so Matt is this. He's got he's shaved head. He's this tough dude. He's got a shaved head. He's built like a tank. His face is all scarred from a beer pitcher that somebody hit him with a beer pitcher in a barroom brawl.